Alrighty folks, can you see it? Alright, I'll take that as a yes. Good. Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Alpha Version.0. In this episode, I'll be entering the Emission Towers, but first, here is the source suit I acquired in the previous episode. I'll be keeping this off to keep the game's difficulty, otherwise I'll just tear through everything. In this episode, I'll begin my assault on the Emission Towers. Let's go after the Omega relay first. After 1 month, we're finally back to this game. Oh, these aren't actually spikes. I thought they... Oh, boss already? If only the Pro Shield was this good. Pretty much the best weapon to use here is basically the plasma cannon. The best weapon to use here is basically the plasma cannon. That was fast. Next up is Delta. I guess these are all mini stages then. Each of them based off a previous stage. This is based off the Foundry. And to repeat what I said during the previous stream, although the Plasma Buster is basically the best weapon in the game, although the laser cannon is basically the most powerful weapon in the game, I'll be swapping the other weapons for variety's sake. When I eventually get to New Game Plus, however, my strategy will change slightly. And also because of this, I decided not to purchase the pistol and shotgun. My weaponry is strong enough already. My current weaponry is strong enough already. Adding in more weapons would slow down my quick swapping. You're a fast one. I'll do it just before the final stage. Gamma. I'll purchase them before the final stage. Oh, one problem. My health doesn't restore per level. Oof. Natural Scorpion. Should have used a shield. I see, no checkpoint for this one. Not too much of a problem for me. I have max health upgrades. But this may be a problem with New Game Plus. And yes, I do. Take two. Attempt number 2. And yes, I do have E-tanks, but I want to save them for the later stages. Data relay. I don't remember seeing these sorts of count bombs in the game. Reliable Google Joe. And those who know that actually exists. To be fair though, especially with the tougher Mega Man entries, the general public may have a harder time distinguishing them in terms of quality. That's why when I play Kaizo levels in Mega Man Maker, I don't tend to upvote or downvote them. I tend to prefer using Metacritic as a rating system, but you're right. I tend to use OpenCritic as a better gauge of the game's quality or game's reception. I tend to use OpenCritic to measure the game's overall reception. No boss intro? I see you. There's no backtracking from here. This is it, folks. The final stage. This is it, folks. The final stage. Separate routes, I suppose. I wouldn't say Sword and Shield is trash, just simply disappointing. And not what it was, and didn't live up to the series, quality, and didn't live up to the series quality standards. Warning. Ow. Thanks, Red. Ow. Could be worse. At least it happened right next to the checkpoint. We even have the same environments. We even have the same 6 environments from the 6 main stages. We even have returns to the 6 main environments from the 6 stages. Makes sense, as this is supposed to be the... Which is completely appropriate, as this is the true fortress. As this is the true final stage of the game. And usually the better Wily fortresses reuse the mechanics from the preceding RM stages. And typically the best RM stages reuse the mechanics from the preceding RM stages. Red, why did you do that? Don't worry, he's fine. For a moment there I thought he died. Rip. Time to play as red now. If you didn't go to that optional stage, this would be the first time you're playing as him. If you didn't play through that optional stage, this would be the first time you're playing as him. If you didn't go to that optional stage, this would be the first time you're playing as him. I have more health, but I have to be careful. I have more health, but I'm locked to this melee weapon. And I don't have access to health tanks. And I don't have access to health pickups. My regular attacks can destroy projectiles, though. And apparently I can jump infinitely. As long as I have enough energy. Next up is probably going to be Paper Mario. Sorry about your bike there, Class B. I'm almost certain that red is an I'm almost certain that red is another playable character. I'm almost certain that red is an unlockable character, whom I obtain after beating the game. I wish the characters emoted more. I understand the game not having any spoken dialogue, but at the very least, I would like some. But at the very least, I like some more emoting. But at the very least, I would like some more physical emoting. I would prefer some more physical emoting. Perhaps Jaden. We'll see. Snazzy. Gabriel, Nadro's High Commander. On hard mode, we'd probably fight him one-on-one. Can't block it. Lumine? Not a good sign. And now their true form. The Gabriel capsule. These games almost always has a Y capsule equivalent. No kidding, Buster. They did a very good job at platforming and dispatching the enemies. These games almost always have a Y capsule equivalent. That's it, I'm using an E-Tank. That's it, I'm using a heal node. See, he's still alive. And he gains his own set of upgrades. Whoa, I thought there was a wall there. This actually sounds quite good as elevator music. Come on, there's only 4 of them. We can handle this. Thanks for the assist there, Red. Overclock? I know I have this ability, but why did it auto-trigger here? I see. Of course, it's not over yet. Gabriel has her own exosuit. If there's one thing this game gets right, it's having a grand ending. It's having a grand final battle. First starting off with a regular human versus human encounter. First starting off with a regular old human versus humanoid encounter. Then moving on to the machine. And now mech versus mech. Then human versus giant machine. Then human versus giant machine. And now mech versus mech. My only wish is if I could see a health bar. Red saving the day yet again. Mash the fire button. What happened to the sword? B coming in for the final blows. It was yours all along, wasn't it? Meanwhile, back at the Resistance. Now that the Alpha Virus has been deleted, all the Natos units self-destruct. And just like all the other fortresses and castles and whatnot, the entire place blows up. Thankfully not the city, but thankfully not the city though. Thankfully not including the city. What a great way to end off the game. What a great final battle to end off the game. Oh sure it was easy. Oh sure, it was on the easier side than I anticipated. But in general, the game has been not too difficult. Especially after acquiring all those upgrades. It It wins in terms of spectacle and how all the playable characters come together to finish the job. Many, if not most games, don't get the final sequence quite right. I wish it was tougher, but that'll likely be resolved in New Game Plus. Cyber Shadow is an example of another game which has a good ending sequence. It had some problems with the final chapter, but that's more because of the previous chapters didn't train you enough with a downward strike. Generally, outside of the first 2 or 3 stages, this game was relatively. This game wasn't too difficult. This game was fairly straightforward and not too difficult. The main thing that really brings it, the two main things that really bring it down for me are the weapon imbalance, are the weapon and upgrade imbalancing, are the very imbalanced weapon and upgrades, and the stage design, and the somewhat deficient level design. And the lacking level design. Some stages had far more interesting designs. A few stages had far more interesting designs. Most didn't. The art style, to put it charitably, the art style is fairly flat, and a bit more on the simplistic side. To put it charitably, I found it to be simply okay. I will say that I like the huge variety in boss battles. I thought we had something similar. At first, I thought we had something similar to the Mavericks or Roadmasters from the Mega Man franchise, but no, we have Mavericks, regular robots, giant mechs, duels, etc. Music was rockin'. At least half the tracks were rockin'. At least half the tracks were decent. Rest were kind of forgettable. If only the graphics were as good as the music. only by 10 people, but remember, Cyber Shadow was made mostly by one person. I appreciate what they put together, and I thank Panther 35 for sending me this game. Hi, Wispy. Class R, of course. Gabriel's Class A. And here's our own character, Class C. I get a feeling there was a betrayal somewhere down the line. Post-credit scene. NG Plus unlocked. Alright, be right back in a moment, and then I'll move on to the next thing. aka NG Plus mode. And we're back. Let us begin New Game Plus on Custom. I see. By picking this option, we can change our character details. Uh... I wanted to use my own avatar colors, but... I wish I could change the shoe color, but this works. Let's do this. I'm going to be playing on New Game Plus. More and sturdier enemies, player takes triple damage, and additional boss encounters, intended for experienced players, and unlocked after completing normal mode. Yeah, I take triple damage immediately. And there are 2 enemies here instead of 1. I don't acquire my base weapon set until I'm done with the first stage. As a demonstration of how difficult it is now, I think my buster is as strong as it was before, but I don't have access to my other weapons yet. And if there are 2 of them firing at the same time, my shield will get torn apart rather quickly. Oh, wait a minute. I think I see the problem. Do I have to start New Game Plus from the load screen or from the New Game screen? Because if I start from New Game, It may not persist my weapon upgrades. We'll see. I may be playing the extra hard version in New Game Plus. Where instead of starting off that save file with all those upgrades, I'm starting off with nothing. If I can even get past the first stage. If I game over here, I'll just check out off of loading and see if that fixes it. Now the basic level natural soldiers are a hazard. Now the basic level natural soldiers are a hazard. To correct an earlier statement, this is actually the level 1. This is actually the level 1 buster. I can only fire up to 3 shots on screen at a time. With the fully upgraded one, it's 5 or 6. With the fully upgraded one, the limit's 5 or 6. I missed the run command. Well, that strategy doesn't work. Yeah, those projectiles are unblockable now. Or maybe they always were. Now this is the level 2 buster. Keep in mind, when I first played this, I was able to get to the end of the stage with only with 0 deaths. When I first played through this, I was able to complete the end stage with no deaths. I am too. In tonight's stream, I'll be exploring the rest of the solar system. And perhaps unlocking a new ship type. You're Gabriel. Now I get who you are. And there's no safety net. Dodging. Rip. First time a game over. Okay, let me check and see what happens if I do load. Oh, okay. That makes much more sense. You start New Game Plus by loading off your original save. If you want a harder challenge, you can start New Game Plus without any... If you want a harder challenge, you can start New Game Plus without any upgrades. See, I take triple damage here as well. That's how I know it's New Game Plus. Can't say I'm complaining though. Can't say I'm complaining though. One of my main issues with the game is its low difficulty. And that option resolves that issue. And this option resolves that issue. Speedrunning time. I still gotta be more cautious. However. Enemies still deal triple damage to me. And there's more of them. Perhaps Jaden. Not to mention at the start, I face up against Gabriel. Whereas before, it was simply a generic soldier. Whereas before, it was simply a generic Nadros soldier. Another suggestion, I wish the damage sound effect was louder. Specifically when I take a hit. I can easily tell when my shots are impacting an enemy. Not so much the other way around. Less rumble, Gabriel. Never mind. A correction. The first time I played this game, the mini-boss here was in fact great. The mini-boss in fact was Gabriel. Now that I notice, this was a good point of foreshadowing. This was a good bit of foreshadowing. Most games don't start you off by fighting the final boss. Or specifically one form of the final boss. If I activate the hover, it's a bit difficult to deactivate it. Oh yeah, if I fail this, I have to fight Gabriel again. Scratch my earlier statement, isn't too difficult to deactivate hover. I simply wasn't fast enough. Before, these projectiles were blockable, now they aren't. That answers my earlier question. To be fair, in normal mode, I felt the shield was a bit too powerful. I wish we learned more about humanoids. Anyways, off to the shop. I'll be purchasing the 2 upgrades. I'll be purchasing the rest of the upgrades. Not gonna be equipping the source suit, however. That'd simply break the game. Let's do loose wagon. Okay, let's test out any new weapons. This is the shotgun. You weren't here before. Used to be a nice level. Not too useful, I'm afraid. And that's the pistol. And this is the pistol. Unlike the Buster, it actually pierces through walls. So it does have a use. So it does have a use case. If it couldn't pierce through walls, I'd simply use the laser buster over it. I'd simply use the plasma cannon over it. Nope, that's a fully upgraded shotgun. Nope, that's a fully upgraded level 4 shotgun. Ironic how the pistol is better at short and long range. It's basically like a mini... It's basically like the plasma cannon, but with the ability to pierce right through walls. It doesn't have as much DPS as the other. But that ability more than makes up for it. But that ability more than makes up for it. As I mentioned earlier, this game has as I mentioned during my previous playthrough, this game has several problems with weapon balancing. The plasma cannon and the pistol are easily the best weapons in the game. Hold that talk for later, Jaden. Maybe it's an unlockable for completing New Game Plus. Meanwhile, the shotgun is one of the worst weapons in the game. The Buster is simply okay, but why would you use it over those two aforementioned weapons? Meanwhile, the grenade launcher and rocket launcher fulfill similar roles. They're fine in a pinch, but their DPS is sorely lacked. They're fine in a pinch, but the amount of damage they deal per head doesn't make up for their lower DP. But the amount of damage they deal per head doesn't make up for their lower DPS. This is new. We fought you in... The last time we fought you, it was in the Emission Towers. I'm not taking any chances. I have plenty of currency left anyways. Funny how the pistol gets turned into a machine gun at full level. Funny how the pistol gets turned into a machine pistol at full level, at full upgrade. That's what I was worried about. Do I have to fight the mini-boss again? I hope not. At short range, the grenade launcher is a bit useful, but a tad risky. At short range, the grenade launcher is somewhat useful, but it's a tad risky. It can out DPS the pistol and plasma launcher. Or bosses even. I prefer to use the grenade launcher over the rocket. I prefer to use the grenade launcher over the rocket launcher due to its better DPS. And also its downward facing firing angle. And also due to its firing angle. Yeah, we have to find it again, unfortunately. It's just like Mega Man Classic. It's just like Mega Man Classic. But as you saw there, the difference in DPS between the pistol and grenades is very noticeable. They are, but they could also be better. We did it. We made it to the boss. Will it have any new sets of attacks? Yeah, that's new. Oh. E-tanks don't activate instantaneously. There's a short delay. There's a short delay. I'm going to have to do this the fair way then. Which isn't too difficult to say. Which isn't too difficult. I think its appearance was the same. I'll have to double check. Well, this solves my difficulty gripes. Just make sure to go through this mode with full health unlocked. Probably a D rank. That's fair. Truly. Actually, you know what? Let's go with purple to indicate that this is New Game Plus. Okay, scratch my earlier statement. The grenade launcher is still useful. Rocket launcher on the other hand, maybe not as much. Okay, scratch my earlier statement. The grenade launcher is still useful. Perhaps even more so in this mode. I was thinking more of the rocket launcher. See, this is the shotgun at full upgrade and powered up, with all the upgrades and powered up. If the individual rockets were more powerful, I'd use this more often. Right now, if I want an explosive weapon, I'd rather use the grenade launcher. That's what I was worried about. I gotta recollect these chips. There's no reason to redo the nav stages, however. I already got the upgrade from them. Too high. Back to the beginning. They probably do. The snake boss had a new attack. See how weak the rocket launcher is? What? Okay, that's different. Now I have to go through this section on our own. Longer level design. Just imagine doing this without all these upgrades. Oh, that's what triggers them. I really want to use all my weapons, but clearly Tree outshined the rest. And I can't afford to take hits. Come on. Didn't jump out fast enough. Still one of the easiest bosses. And his stage is one of the more straightforward. Although if you want everything in the first go, you must have either double jump or hovering. To be honest, I feel the previous stage should have been a D. Welcome back to Fort Forest, aka the really long level. Oh cool, the zombies have moved in. That would be a neat idea. Although I'm not sure how possible that would be, seeing how this takes place in the Mega Man X or Zero-esque future. Did the chip used to be down there? Did the nav chip used to be down there? You're new. And it's one of the few music tracks in the game which has a few variations depending on where you are. Here comes the split route. Here comes the split route. And why this stage is one of the longest ones. And the reason why this stage is one of the longest ones. I hate what's coming next. It worked this time, but... Wait, did I activate it? Nope. That's one down. This stage probably could have been shortened if there was only 2 of them. I get why we have all these routes. 1 for each season. Noticed at the last second. I kind of prefer if these spikes were made more... I would prefer if these death spikes were made more obvious. Also, with the exception of the really big ones, sometimes they just seem part of the environment. Sometimes they feel like they're only part of the environment. Sometimes they feel they're only part of the background. Sometimes they feel like they're only part of the background. And not actually a hazard. That's 2 down. Scratch that. That's 3 down. I forgot the one from the previous room is also activated. I forgot that the one in the previous room is activated too. Nonetheless, it could have been made shorter if there was one less section. This stage kind of feels like it's too long. This stage feels like it's too long. Okay, Wispy. This is what I was this is what I was saying earlier as how unique the bosses are. This is one of the bosses I was referring to earlier in terms of how unique the... This is one of the bosses I was referring to when saying how unique the boss battles are. B rank? Fair. At very close range, the rocket launcher is a bit more useful, but I'd still rather use the grenade launcher. The main thing that makes this stage unique is that it's semi-randomized. According to Panda. Every time you die, the stage layout is reset a bit. Every time you die, the stage layout has changed a bit. Every time you die, the stage layout has changed. It's boss time. This could be a final boss in its own right. Off you go. Time to escape. You're back. I'm actually out of packs. Good news is I don't need to refight the boss. I would really like to see a health bar. Or more signs that it's nearing death. Or more signs that it's nearing destruction. Otherwise, they can feel rather meat spongy. Otherwise, they can feel rather damage spongy. B rank? Had I not died... Well, maybe not. I'd probably still get a B rank. I incurred too much damage. Meanwhile, back at the Resistance. Everyone in the chat still there? Or am I on my lonesome now? Good. I know, the game's moment-to-moment gameplay can get a bit rote. I know, the game's moment-to-moment gameplay can become a bit rote. And somewhat monotonous. Sometimes I feel these stages would be better if they were 25% shorter. To differentiate itself more from the pistol, the plasma cannon should not be able to pierce through enemies. Also, the shots should be less invisible. Its shots should be more visible. Also, its projectiles should be more visible. I can barely see the shots firing out. Yeah, I will. Especially for the Mega Man Maker levels. You again. pistol turns you into a joke. On to the actual boss. I need to check the weapon stats after this. I may be completely off base. I may be completely off base with my earlier evaluations. I may be completely off base with my earlier evaluations. For Paper Mario and other games, they'll be shelved for the duration of the vacation. Well, maybe barring one exception. Paper Mario's gonna be livestream only, of course. For once, no deaths. Still a B. I wish I could see the weapon stats here. Also, the other reason why I'm not equipping the source suit, I can't wear the other equipment pieces with this on. I get double damage, but I lose out on everything else. I think. But I lose out on everything else. The battle plate, our boots, and helmet. That's the trade-off. It's not a straight upgrade to everything. It's something designed for more skilled players. Which I'm completely fine with. Come on. Oh. Hovering. Getting in and out of hovering is harder than it looks. I'm getting a B rank now. I'm guaranteed. Yeah, let's try this again. I'll be skipping the nav chip stages, by the way. I don't really... We're kind of running low... We're somewhat running low on time on this stream. And I don't need the source suit again. I'll like to do them as a bonus. Perhaps in combination with NG++ hard mode. No kidding. I heard it's called maddening in tree houses. The last chip should be here. And there it is. During my first playthrough, I completely overlooked it. Hi Jerryman, welcome to the stream. Again, to repeat my earlier statement, I wish the damage taken sound effect is much louder. It's barely audible right now. It's barely audible right now. Combined with how I take no knockback from enemies, combined with how I take no knockback from enemy damage, combined with how I take no knockback from damage, this becomes a problem. I need to hear when I'm taking damage. There is a visual effect, but it's not obvious enough. So we're all humanoids. Why did Gabriel rebel though? Why is Gabriel fighting humanity then? Yeah, I'll read the manual after this, if there is one. Likely borrowing from the older game style of placing most of the story in the manual. Likely borrowing from the older era, where most of the story is in the manual. This still looks like Nid's stories. Back into the Emission Towers. Back into the Emission Towers. Back into the towers. I'll be saving the bonus nav ship stages for an extra video. You again. Do you have any new tricks up your sleeves? Gosh, I really wish the menu actually showed the names of these weapons. instead of leaving them blank. They simply look too similar in the menu. Or at least color them differently. If there's one complaint I have about this game, it's that it didn't use its mechanics enough. Ah, that's fine. I can't go back to the shop now, so I have to conserve my health packs for the final battle. I already got my money's worth. In fact, let me put this out there. If you don't already enjoy the game from the base normal, if you didn't already enjoy the game on the base difficulty, setting, you'll likely not enjoy New Game Plus. It's simply a harder version of that. It's merely a harder version of that. I really want to recommend this game more, but as it stands, it's merely okay. Compared to something like Teal, this feels a bit... Compared with something like Teal or 20XX, this doesn't feel as polished. Or enjoyable, I'm afraid. I got my money's worth, but my enjoyment's wearing thin. Perhaps if I came back to this game 1 month later again, I enjoy New Game Plus more. Still, I got 5 hours in enjoyment out of this. That's fairly good. Nonetheless, I still got 5 hours in enjoyment out of this. I'll give my final thoughts when I'm done with this playthrough. Ah, caught my leg. Too high. Funny how backups, aka extra lives, are less precious than are less precious than tanks. Funny how extra lives, aka backups, are less precious than health packs. Well, next Sunday morning is Paper Mario 64. I don't want to start streaming a new game just before vacation. Wednesday evening, Paper Mario 64. Sunday morning, continuation of that. I know that'll be more fun than this. Be right back in a moment. On to the Alpha emitter. I'm mostly looking forward to the boss at the end. I'm mostly looking forward to Gabriel there. I'm mostly looking forward to Gabriel there. And to be quite frank, this is actually my favorite stage of the game. If anything, to make this difficulty setting more palatable to... If anything, to make this difficulty setting more palatable to regular players, nerf the damage increase to 2x instead of 3x. I missed the shot and that's why I took a hit. One of the only locations where the shotgun would have helped. Come on, Red, let's go. Red? Where are you? Oh, he got confused when I took the upper route. And I like how this stage meshes together all the teams of the previous 6 stages. And I like how this stage meshes together the teams of the 6 previous stages. And I like how it meshes together And I like how it meshes together the 6 stages. And I like how it meshes together the 6 regular stages, both in terms of enemies and mechanics, both in terms of enemies and level objects. Oh, he jumped in the pipe all this time. At first I thought he died. What's over here? Yeah, the same. Wait, Red has the same HP as... Wait a minute, Red has the same HP as during the last playthrough. It didn't refill. Now that's a glitch. That's better. That's what we should have started out with, but for some reason, it kept the same values from the previous playthrough. By hitting enemies, Red's energy meter regenerates faster. Red's energy meter regenerates faster. Sorry about your bike. At least you have your mech. At least you still have your mech. I really hope this game has a red mode. As a bonus. I still hold the notion that the game would be better with some more dialogue. I still hold the notion that this game would be better if more of the plot was explained in game. If more of the plot was explained in game. If more of the plot was explained in game. Either through dialogue or lore bits. We actually had some in the We actually had some at the end of the intro. We actually had some at the end of the intro stage. Ah, Easter egg. We actually had some at the start of the intro stage. Thank you. We actually had some at the end of the interstate. At the interstage. We actually had some at the interstage's end, as well as on the stage select screen. Same tactics as the first encounter, in fact. But no, it's different. Giving the rocket launcher its due. This marks the end of the second phase. Wow, I was that low on health. Again, please make it more obvious when I'm taking damage. I'm referring to the sound effect. Again, make the sound effect when you take damage more obvious. The music looping kinda broke too. Do all these parts share the same health bars? Or are they separate? I get the feeling they're separate. Probably separate then. I think a piercing weapon would be better for this. Also, when I kept saying the plasma rifle in this... Also, a quick correction. Every time I said plasma rifle during this stream, I meant to say light rifle. Indeed, Sylveon, we're nearing the end. This time for real. I could have also used overclock more throughout this playthrough. But I wanted to save up my stamina for running. Hang on, we're at an angle now. I can't see my health bar either. The max health bar, I mean. I have my base character health bar. I think I may have glitched the fight a bit. Unless not being able to see the health bar as intended. Furious button mashing time. Goodbye, Gabriel. Oh no. Remember what you said earlier, Jaden? About that spark not infecting the final boss? Here it is. The true final boss. You're right, Jaden. We have a phase 5 now. One hard noogie. Good job, team. At last, it's finally over. Gabriel and his Nadra's forces have been destroyed. But what caused this virus in the first place? It's very likely the same thing behind those red sparks. It's very likely the same thing behind those red anomalies. Good thing is, it always seems to be able to infect weak humanoids. The good thing is, it always seems to be able to infect weakened humanoids, like those on the verge of death. Well then, this marks the end of my Let's Play. Of Alpha Version.0. In a bonus video, I will return and complete the 4 nav ship stages on New Game Plus. In a bonus video, I will return and complete the 4 bonus nav ship stages on New Game Plus. So, here are my overall thoughts. Starting with the graphics. Graphically, this game was okay. I think this game was okay. I feel too many of the graphics were flat. With barely any depth to them. And some stuff like the spikes should have stood out more from the background. Even the backgrounds. This flatness applied to both the backgrounds and foregrounds. Musically, this was also okay. Half the tracks were rockin', the other half simply existed. Half the tracks were rockin', the other half simply existed. Gameplay-wise, it was a mixed bag. I like the stage ideas, enemies, concepts, and I like the stage ideas, enemies, and level objects, but their executions leave a lot to be desired. But their executions leave a lot to be desired. But their executions leave a lot to be desired. Most, if not all, the mechanics were not utilized to their fullest potential. Bosses, on the other hand, they were all fun. Some bosses and mini-bosses, however, they all felt fun, although some of the mini-bosses got a bit bullet spongy. This could be rectified with the addition of a health bar. Or perhaps nerfing their health. Or perhaps by nerfing their health. I really like how all the boss battles felt unique. I really like how all the boss battles felt unique. We had stuff like the regular androids and humanoids. We had stuff like the regular human-sized humanoids and androids. And larger bosses like the Rotten Core and Wispy Woods. And larger bosses like the Corrupted Core and Tangled Root. Unfortunately, the stages are larger than what they should. Although the stages feel longer, although all the stages are larger, although all the stages are larger than your typical X stage, there is not much done to fill them. After a while, it gets repetitive. Plus, there's the whole issue with the weapon balancing. To put it bluntly, it sucks. 3 weapons outclass the rest. 3 of the 6 weapons outclass the rest. Those being the light rifle, pistol, and grenade launcher. Those being the light rifle, pistol, and grenade launcher. Excuse me. The shotgun was easily the worst weapon in the game. You're forced to use it at close range, and it doesn't deal enough DPS. The Buster was a decent starter pick. The Buster was a decent starting weapon, but it's easily outclassed by the pistol and rifle. Rocket launcher is okay. The rocket launcher was okay too, but again, it's outclassed by the grenade launcher. In most cases, it doesn't deal enough damage to just. In most scenarios, it doesn't deal enough damage to justify using it. Moreover, I have some gripes with the unlock order. With the mobility upgrade tree. Locking sprinting as the last upgrade feels kind of me. Locking the sprint upgrade behind everything else feels somewhat backwards. Feels backwards in terms of power progression. Hovering and double jumping are far more powerful, They should be locked at the end. They should be moved to the end. Story-wise, it felt kind of barren. I understand what they were trying to pull off. But yet it didn't quite hit the mark. There should have been some dialogue. Or at the very least, more lore bits. See, I get what they were trying to pull off, trying to tell a story without any spoken dialogue. But yet, however, there are too many gaps here. There are simply too many gaps here. These could be rectified with some dialogue, or at the very least, more lore bits, such as the stuff we got at the end of the intro stage. In summary, I say that this was an okay game. And in summary, I say that this was an okay game. I had fun, but it was wearing thin near the end. My favorite stage was the final one. In summary, this was an okay title. And I recommend you pass over this. There are better 2D action platformers out there. Especially around its price range. I'd only recommend you try this out if you're very interested in X-style 2D action platformers. I only recommend this title if you're very interested in X-style 2D action shooter. I only recommend this game if you're very into X-style 2D platformer shooters. Otherwise, there are better titles out there around this price range. Nevertheless, many thanks to Panther35 for gifting me a copy of this game. It's very appreciated. This was okay at best. And I'd only recommend playing New Game Plus if you enjoyed the base difficulty setting enough. In my opinion, it was too easy. And New Game Plus may overtweak it. And New Game Plus overtweaks it a few spots. New Game Plus does resolve some of the difficulty issues. New Game Plus sort of resolves the lore difficulty. But I wish it altered the base game further. Plus, I wish this game had a mode where you play as Red. That would be awesome. Well then, I hope you all enjoyed my Let's Play of Alpha Version.0, viewers. If you enjoyed it, please rate, comment, favorite, and or subscribe, as they all help out the channel. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter as well, and join my Discord server, as I regularly post updates there. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all in a future Let's Play. See you all tonight for Ground.